Okay, so what the heck is mindfulness? You probably heard the term before, right? Mindfulness, it's been around for a while. Over the past, I guess, few decades, it's become a buzzword in psychology and in, popular culture. It's something that kind of came from Eastern philosophy. It was integrated into the new wave of psychotherapies that kind of took hold most recently. And now it's something that's just really prevalent in most people's vocabulary. But what the hell is it? A lot of people think a lot of different things about it. You think, okay, well, I should be more mindful. I guess that means I should be more careful, or I should pay more attention, or I should, look closer at things. I don't know. There's a lot of misconceptions about it. So I kind of want to just break down exactly what mindfulness, in terms of, this use, the therapeutic use, what you usually hear in self-help type materials. Surely you can use the term in other ways, but let me break down kind of the main definition of what mindfulness is. So mindfulness is about non-judgment of your own experience. Okay, so judgment meaning qualifying something as good or bad or otherwise. And instead, what mindfulness encourages you to do is to adopt a new way of being where you're less judgmental of your own experience and you're more present focused. So you're aware of what's going on with you in the moment. That means both internally, so like emotions or physical sensations, and externally as well, what's going on around you. And to be, again, less judgmental of that. This is really important, and the reason it's taught often for mental health reasons is that we often are very, very, very judgmental of our own experiences. We have a thought and we think, oh, that's a stupid thought. That's a bad thought. Get out. Don't think about that. Like, oh God, I feel worthless. No, don't think that. Get it out. Ugh. And we try to squeeze it out of our brains, and we also have thoughts or feelings of anxiety. Maybe we have a little twinge here, or our heart skips a beat, or we feel this weird, just tingly, gross sensation. And we think, oh God, what was that? I must be dying. So mindfulness tells you to take a step back and to recognize what's going on, but try your best to not pass as much judgment on it. And it's asking you to focus on being present, being in the moment. Now, oftentimes what happens is we get really concerned with regrets from the past and worries about the future. And what happens is between the future and the past, they squeeze together and the present moment just gets lost in the equation. So we're never really in the same place at the same time. Our bodies are here, but our minds are up here or back there. So mindfulness is an attempt to help bring those together and keep you centered, keep you focused in what's going on right now. Now, to me, mindfulness is all about speed. Honestly, it's about speed and efficiency. And that's the way that I can best explain it to people in this day and age, because those are things that are really valued, whether that be in business or in school and just daily life, being productive. Speed and efficiency are really important. Can you handle distractions? Can you handle being thrown off track without really getting thrown off track, without being unable to recover? Can you focus on one thing while allowing other things to also exist there? Do you write a to-do list that's so big it just makes you want to take a nap because you can't handle the weight of all those to-dos kind of crushing you? Mindfulness helps with that. So it's about kind of briefly giving those things that are intruding, whether that be a physical sensation or a thought, briefly giving it kind of the limelight, giving it just a little bit of spotlight of your attention, and then moving on. That's really what it's all about. So instead of saying, okay, I have this intrusive thought, or I have this thing that's bugging me, let me try to squeeze that out of my head as hard as I can. You say, okay, let me take a minute, pause. What is it? Okay, let me look at what it is, kind of pull it out in the open, say, okay, my stomach feels queasy. Okay, that's a thought or that's a feeling, just the same like all the other thoughts and feelings that I have. And all right, let's put that to the side. Let's focus back on what I was doing. And that focusing back on what you were doing, shifting that beam of your attention, of your focus back to what you were doing is really the most important part of this, because it allows you to have interruptions. It allows you to have things in the background, those kind of nagging things that usually keep you from doing what you want to do, without them throwing you all the way off track. It allows you to stay focused and on the rails. Now, another piece of mindfulness is that it's task-oriented. So when you're focused on a task, when you're doing something, it's about being absorbed in that task, about being mindful, right, and present in that task. Again, external things or internal things are going to intrude and try to take you away from that, but mindfulness allows you to stay task-oriented. This is really important for instance, people in sports, competitive bike riders or swimmers, or especially any endurance athletes. Being very task oriented, feeling the wind on your face, feeling the feeling of what's going on beneath your feet, or, the water on your skin, whatever it may be, being just very curious and minutely task oriented can help you stay centered, stay mindful, instead of, oh my God, I have a cramp. Oh my God, I can't make it. My pace is slowing down. Am I going fast enough? All these things that will psych you out and throw you off the rails, and then you won't perform your best. So again, in that efficiency and that speed thing, this is really helping you perform your best. It can often help to just be curious, be just intensely curious about the situation at hand. When other things are competing for your attention, rather than trying to force those out, instead focus on trying to be task oriented and curious about what it is that you're doing. Now, this is something that basketball players have done forever. A lot of basketball players make their free throw routine into a very mindful sort of routine. They'll practice over and over and over again until it's like this really deep muscle memory, and they're completely task oriented. It's almost relaxing to them to do those free throws. I've also integrated it into, I used to work with professional League of Legends players, the video game League of Legends, and I would have them go and start a game by themselves, do one of the most just boring, simple things you could possibly do, which if anybody plays League, it would be going into lane by yourself and just CSing minions, just killing minions, trying to make sure you get, the best percentage you can with killing minions. And that's it. And try to stay completely task oriented and focused on what you're doing. Now, as a human, naturally, your attention's going to drift, or you're going to be distracted by something else. And what you do in that time is just practice bringing it back in. So notice what that distraction is, and then get better and better and more efficient at bringing it back in and focusing on what you were doing. So in a broader context, this is like when you're playing with a team, you get frustrated at something doesn't go your way, you're worried about, the future of the game, or you're mad about what happened already in the game, and what happens is the present, your current performance suffers. So practicing that mindfulness task can help you to really rein in that present focus and stay with it. And in league terms, you don't go on tilt as easily. Now, an exercise that you guys can do, this is one that I give to a lot of my therapy patients, is just a simple breathing exercise. And this will help you build mindfulness. It's something that you need to practice. It's a skill, but it will help you build that mindfulness. And it's been something that's been so valuable to me as a person, because this is something that I think I do pretty well now, is staying mindful, staying present focused, not getting thrown off track. And that's important when you have a lot of different things going on, whether that be me writing a report, getting interrupted by my baby screaming upstairs, or me trying to record a video, somebody walking into the office, whatever it is, it helps me really recover from those distractions and focus on what I'm trying to do in that moment. So the breathing exercise goes like this. Basically, you breathe. All right, good job. You got that part figured out, hopefully. And you don't need to breathe any particular sort of way. This isn't necessarily a relaxation exercise. It may be relaxing to you, and that's fine. You can take deeper breaths if you want to, but you don't have to. Just use your own rhythm, feel the rise and fall of your chest, just breathe normally, okay? And what I want you to do, your task, if you will, is to focus on the physical sensations of your breath. So focus on either the feeling of the cool air coming in through your nose, warm air coming out through your mouth, the feeling of the air sort of in your throat as it comes in and out, the rise, the fall of your chest, the expanding, contracting, your belly rising and falling. Whatever it is, it's going to be different for you. It could be different each time, but just notice where you feel the breath entering and leaving your body. And I want you to focus entirely on that sensation. Try to put all of your attention onto that sensation, right? And you do that for as long as you can. But being human, eventually something is going to interrupt. You're going to have a physical sensation. You're going to be thinking about what happens next in your life. You're going to be thinking about what happened earlier in the day. There's going to be a worry, or something is going to happen in your environment that's going to distract you. And that's what we want to happen. So when that happens, instead of blocking it out, instead of trying to squeeze it out of your brain, instead give it a moment of attention. Say, okay, what was that? Pull it out into the open. And for me, I actually literally, sometimes out loud, will say, okay. Because I'm pulling it out, I say, okay, I am thinking about the fact that I'm running out of time to record this video, and I have a therapy session coming up. Okay, so let me pull that out, see what is that? Okay, it's just a worry that I'm not going to have enough time. I planned ahead, I know that, so that's fine. It is what it is. It's not bad, it's not good, but I am feeling that worry. And that's okay, I can feel that worry while still doing this task. So let's put that to the side. Now I'm going to focus back on that sensation of the breathing in, breathing out. Okay, waiting a few more minutes or a few seconds, whatever happens, then I'm worried about something else, or I have a different thought, or I have a different physical sensation. Oh, my back's starting to hurt in this position. Okay, what does that feel like? Well, it's, dull, sharp pain is kind of there, but just really in the background. It's starting to build, and it will probably be gone before I'm done with this video. Okay, put that to the side. Focus back on the breath. Right, so it's something you do over and over again. And when you first start doing this, you're going to be bam, 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 distracted by all kinds of things. But as you continue to practice, quickly noticing that distraction, just recognizing it, not labeling it good or bad, just being aware of it, then letting it pass on, then directing your attention back to what the task was that you were doing, whether that be this breathing exercise or something else that you want to integrate. The more you do that, the better you're going to be and the more efficient you're going to be at bam, bam, just switching back and forth without getting thrown off track. And with that efficiency, you'll find that you kind of just get distracted less and less. So the time period between those distractions gets longer and longer, which I think is something that's really valuable. So there's a lot of different ways to understand mindfulness, but that's kind of the basic definition. And that's one particular exercise that's just really solid and really good for you to practice on your own and try to integrate more of that into your life. What I would suggest is, if you're just getting started with this mindfulness practice, integrating it into your week probably in the mornings and doing it, 3 times a week for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. That'd be perfect. Often what I do is I do it when the coffee's brewing. That's just like the perfect period of time. I could hear the coffee brewing, which is relaxing. It's a good time interval, and there's not a lot of distractions at that point. Currently, I'm doing it at different times because now my kid's awake at that point in time, but regardless, that's a really good one. But whatever works for you, just set a gentle timer, or you don't even have to. Just spend a few minutes going through that. Do it several times a week, and you'll be surprised at the effect that it has on you.